Hello everyone, this is Joker Sapper. In our last episode, we learned why Siam made the monumental decision to join the First World War. But declaring war on paper was simply not enough to gain true recognition from the world as a genuine ally. Siam needed to prove that we were ready to actively put skin in the game. And that was the beginning of the Siam Expeditionary Forces, a small contingent that was about to embark on one of the longest and most historic journeys in Thai history. Let's go back to the year 1917. Shortly after the declaration of war, the Siamese government opened recruitment for volunteers across the country. The news spread like wildfire. Young men from all walks of life flooded the recruitment stations. Some were active-duty military men, others were civilians fueled by a desire to serve their homeland. For many, this was the opportunity of a lifetime, a chance to be part of a defining moment in world history. Ultimately, the Siam Expeditionary Forces were formed, comprising over 1,200 personnel. This force included aviation units, motor transport corps, mechanics, medical personnel, and support troops. Though their numbers were small compared to the massive armies of the global superpowers, for Siam, this mission carried immense weight. Before departure, every single soldier underwent rigorous training. Many had to learn cutting-edge military technology from scratch, especially the aviation unit. In those days, aviation was still a brand new phenomenon on the world stage. None of them knew for sure what horrors or challenges awaited them in Europe. But everyone understood one thing clearly. They were not traveling as tourists, they were traveling as the living embodiment of their nation. And then, the day of departure arrived. Try to picture the scene with me. The docks were packed with crowds. Families, relatives, and friends had all gathered to see their boys off. Some smiled to give them strength. Others fought back tears, because deep down, no one knew if this goodbye would be their last. As the ship's horn echoed, the mooring ropes were cast off. The vessel slowly drifted away from the pier. Scores of young Siamese men stood on the deck, watching their homeland gradually fade into the horizon. Many of them had never traveled beyond their neighboring provinces, but today they were charting a course for the completely opposite side of the globe. Travel in that era was nothing like today. There were no passenger jets, no internet communication. Everything relied on ocean liners, taking weeks upon weeks just to reach the destination. Along the way, they battled rough seas, unpredictable weather, and the constant, invisible anxieties of wartime. Even in the middle of the vast ocean, danger was never far away. German U-boats were actively operating in various zones, forcing the convoy to navigate with absolute caution. After a grueling and exhausting voyage, the Siam Expeditionary Forces finally set foot in France. And the very first thing they encountered was a world completely alienated from their homeland. The air was biting cold. People spoke a language they couldn't comprehend. The towns and cities bore the heavy, visible scars of ongoing warfare. For many Thai soldiers, this was their first time seeing Europe with their own eyes, and for some, it was the first time in their lives they had ever seen snow. Just imagine that for a moment. Young men who grew up in the tropical heat, suddenly forced to endure freezing temperatures, wrapped in layers of heavy clothing, learning an entirely new culture, and desperately trying to adapt to an unfamiliar environment. But no matter how brutal it got, they had no choice but to march forward, because their true mission had only just begun. Upon arriving in France, the Siamese troops underwent advanced training with the French army to master the operational standards of modern warfare. They had to learn the language, the advanced weaponry, the military vehicles, and logistical systems far more sophisticated than anything they had ever seen back in Siam. Many began to realize that this world war was fundamentally different from any conflict in the past. This wasn't a war fought with swords or flintlocks. This was a war of machines, of automobiles, of airplanes, of technology that was actively reshaping the world. The Thai soldiers were learning these advancements directly from the epicenter of the conflict, and that knowledge would eventually become a priceless asset they would carry back home to modernize their country. But life in France wasn't just about training. They also had to cope with profound homesickness, stark cultural barriers, and the suffocating pressure of living in a nation consumed by total war. So, what was daily life truly like for a Thai soldier in France? What specific missions did they execute? And how did this cataclysmic war change who they were forever? We will dive into all of that in our next episode, The Lives of Thai Soldiers in France. I am Joker Sapper. Thank you all for listening. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.